Some of Hollywood's biggest stars, including Ellen DeGeneres, Oprah Winfrey, and Ashton Kutcher, are reportedly feeling uneasy as federal authorities begin arresting individuals connected to Sean Diddy Combs. With pressure building, many believe Diddy's best chance to protect himself is by sharing information with investigators. Those close to him say this wouldn't be unusual, as he has a past of cooperating with federal agencies when facing serious trouble.
So now we have two people come out saying that Diddy was talking to the feds. Do you think that's true?
Whether it's true or not, and he might have been cooperative in some way, shape, or form, you don't get away with human trafficking unless you give up John Gotti or something like that, and that's not what happened here. I can tell you, Jesse, that this investigation's been going on for a long time, very closely held by HSI, so much so that even some of the agents on the raid a week ago today didn't know whose house they were raiding until they got there. That's how closely held this investigation.
Wow, because there could have been a tip.
Absolutely.
And there are allegations that he was paying law enforcement through his chief of security, which also happened to be Michael Jackson's chief of security.
I don't know if I buy into that. You know, people in Diddy's situation like to have those involved in law enforcement close to them. But that doesn't mean they're taking payoffs. That doesn't mean they're doing big favors. They like that closeness. It's just like how Diddy was able to court Diageo or Estee Lauder. He was very successful in doing that, and that made him a lot of money and gave him credibility outside the hip-hop rap world. And that's what he was trying to do here, a lot like what Epstein did with very...
Reports suggest that Sean Diddy Combs has been quietly cooperating with federal authorities for years as an informant, and now he may be willing to reveal even more if it helps him reduce his time behind bars. His legal team understands that his situation is serious and that making a deal could be his only real option. To secure that deal, Diddy is said to be ready to share whatever information is needed, even if it means turning against people he once trusted the most.
It should go on for so long. You know, when we were on the street, we didn't get a day's rest. I mean, the government was all over us. The FBI is all over us. They got investigations on us. They got informants. They got surveillance equipment.
He was like, not cutting you off, but he was an informant for years.
Was he really?
Yeah. That's why when people was like, oh, you're going to run, oh, he's not. It's the reason why these type of people get caught up. They always been feeling they bigger than the law because they part of the law, you know? And as you know, all these people get tired of their rap.
Joe Rogan has also backed this idea, saying it's hard to believe federal authorities were unaware of what Sean Diddy Combs was allegedly involved in. Rumors had been circulating for years, and people within the industry were already suspicious of his activities. The situation became more serious when Diddy's mansion was searched by United States Department of Homeland Security, suggesting this case goes far beyond a typical legal issue and points to the involvement of powerful figures.
You think the government was involved in the P. Diddy stuff?
1,000%.
Really?
I think they wanted to blackmail serious Hollywood people, serious music people, serious athletes. I think that Diddy opens up a different world than Epstein opened up. And I think if you want control over people in that world, there's startling similarities between Diddy and Epstein. And, you know, I mean, Diddy had the same head of security as Michael Jackson.
What does that mean?
Well,
was Michael Jackson in the government?
No, Michael Jackson has been credibly accused of inappropriate activities.
Oh, right.
And he had a security guard.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just an interesting connection.
But generally, like, people that specialize in top-level celebrities like that, they work in the same circles.
Yes, but those are two top,
Yeah, but I see that's what's interesting is, like, we didn't know about the Diddy thing until, look, I've been in Hollywood I was there for 26 years or something like that. I didn't know about the Diddy parties.
No, I think you have to get invited to
a white party, like on like People magazine or something like that.
Well, I think it's just one of those things that, like, you're invited to, and you could go and show up there and stay for an hour, and it's all completely innocent. And then there are after parties or certain things.
Well, they would tell people, you know, at midnight, you better go the fuck home, or
it gets wild.
Be prepared to freak off.
And there's targets. I think people, they want leverage on certain people.
Well, certainly if you have artists, right? Like, say if you have an artist, he's the next Tupac.
Right.
And you imagine the amount of money a guy like that can generate. If you have some, like, super talented artist.
Right.
Fucking compromise him.
Yeah. Well, that's
now
right.
You got him.
And now you have him, and now he's got to kind of do what you want.
Gene Deal has claimed that Sean Diddy Combs was secretly cooperating with federal authorities as an informant, pointing to private meetings and unexplained phone calls that he says he personally witnessed. According to him, Diddy carried himself as if he was untouchable, but in reality, he believed he was protected as long as he followed instructions from officials. Deal suggests that Diddy shared information with law enforcement, and in return, they turned a blind eye, allowing his alleged behavior to continue without intervention.
That's a confidential informant. They'll let you do crimes, long as you don't do no murders and stuff like that. They'll let you go around and pay you. We had a lot of people on the payroll when we was doing security. Somebody might have this first 10 hours, that 10 hours, or whatever. He was paying law enforcement. He had a budget for law enforcement. Now, if something goes wrong, those people got friends in certain places. Then plus he tells his handler, yo, can you make this go away for me? I'll give you this and that. Now, that could be a lot of speculations or whatever like that. But why would you have or be working for a FBI agent if you're not an informant? Why? So when you got that kind of money, you could hire people to make a lot of things go away for you. Like you hire lawyers. Those lawyers have police officers and people working for them and investigators. Those investigators were former officers. So all of them in the backyard in Diddy bed together.
People within the music industry, including top executives, were reportedly aware of this situation, and Suge Knight has been making similar claims for many years. He has long suggested that Sean Diddy Combs maintained close ties with government authorities and had been sharing information behind the scenes. Now, with pressure building, many believe Diddy is willing to say or do whatever it takes to protect himself. Those closest to him are said to understand the seriousness of the situation and may already be preparing for what could come next.
The answers are there. How could you not say they don't want to see Puffy get life? The FBI is the most powerful people in the world. They're government. They have great prosecution people. Look at the prosecution rate. I think it's maybe 92, 98%. If you was just looking at it, you wouldn't think the prosecutors, as great as they are, that they was really trying to get this man off the street. But it's still, if I was Puffy, I did some time and got it out the way. Because if he go in there and do a little time, he was going to feel he paid some debts in society. He'd start off where he left. If he get no time, the street's going to know the deal's been cut. If you get no time, nobody in the industry is going to fuck with him. It's going to be a bad problem for him because Puffy got to have security 24 hours a day. It ain't Puffy can get out of jail and start his own car up and drive around and live life. Him without security, he know he on borrowed time. So he had to have security. Him without drugs, shit, he probably wouldn't be able to have a conversation with nobody. He probably wouldn't be able to look nobody in the eye. He probably wouldn't even be able to bag a bit.
There is growing talk that Sean Diddy Combs may have already reached an agreement with the government, even though the exact terms would likely never be made public. Still, many believe the signs are clear. TMZ reported that Diddy has been telling fellow inmates he could receive a pardon, adding more fuel to the speculation. His lawyer, Mark Garagos, also hinted in a recent interview that something major is being planned, something he says could take everyone by surprise.
There's a lot of news coming out. We reported the story about a pardon.
Yes.
Yeah.
All I'll tell you is I think your story was accurate. I'll leave it at that.
Well, I mean, this week some decision will be made. What's the feeling?
I have no idea about timing. All I know is everything that I read in that article looked accurate.
Well, look, that's probably some relief to Diddy's team, you know. And
I don't know. I think they're moving ahead. I don't think anybody is counting on anything, and
right.
I think the reporting was accurate.
How did you hear he's faring since sentencing?
I don't know. I mean, I hopefully we'll see him soon and find out.
I guess lastly, I would ask, what do you think his future looks like?
I have the utmost confidence in Sean. I think Sean will make a comeback the likes of which people are not expecting. So I've watched him over. I've known him for a long time. I have the utmost confidence in him.
In whatever sphere. I mean, he's done business, the music,
he's iconic in a lot of ways, and I think he'll make a comeback. I'll leave it at that.
You don't think that he'll lose some fans, or you think?
And part of character is when you fall down, you get back up.
Hey, thank you, Mark.
The speculation is heating up. Just days after Mark Garagos hinted at something big, TMZ reported that Sean Diddy Combs and Donald Trump had talked about a possible pardon. Questions are now swirling about who Diddy might cooperate against to secure it, and whether anyone close to him could be in serious trouble as a result.
Diddy could be a free man by the end of this week. We broke a story last night that Donald Trump is seriously considering commuting his sentence. And there has been a lot of fallout with our story.
By the way, commuting his sentence before he's even in a prison.
Right.
He's still at Brooklyn MDC waiting to find out which prison he's going to. But this is something that President Trump is considering. And the fact that he's considering it is causing a bit of an internal war at the White House, because not everybody in the administration thinks this is a good idea.
So we are told this. And this is coming from somebody high up in the White House. We broke that story, incidentally, that right after the sentencing, his legal team, Diddy's legal team, got in touch with somebody who had the president's ear, and that the president was looking at the paperwork.
And the president acknowledged that
like 2 days later.
Yeah, in the Oval Office.
2 days later.
Yeah.
So we now know that Trump is considering, we're told that he's kind of waffling. He's going back and forth on this, but there are staffers in the White House telling him, don't do it. So we put this story.
Looking at Sean Diddy Combs' long history and the ongoing criminal investigation, it seems there was much more happening than the public knew. Reports suggest he was involved in illegal activity for nearly 20 years before facing any charges. It raises questions. Surely someone, whether hotel staff, security, or others, must have known something. If information was leaking, why wasn't he ever arrested sooner?
One of the questions I had is, how does this go on for 20 some odd years? And the reason I say that, maybe there's a little, I don't want to say resentment, that's not the right word, but in my former life, the FBI was on us 24/7. We were I was indicted 7 times. I was arrested 18 times. I went to trial 5 times. I had 2 federal racketeering cases, 1 state. They were on me constantly. And look, I was a criminal. I was doing what I was doing, but I wasn't doing these kind of parties or anything like that. What I'm saying is, how does this go unnoticed or unbothered, I would say, for 20 years? So my first reaction is, this guy must be an informant. He must be doing something with the government. Just as my thought, I have nothing to back that up, until Suge said to me that Diddy's been an informant for years.
So why did Sean Diddy Combs finally get arrested after allegedly spending 20 years as a government informant? And are there other informants in Hollywood that federal authorities are working with? According to Gene Deal, the answer is yes. It's possible that Diddy simply outlived his usefulness, and now the feds are trying to gather as much information from him as they can before it's too late.